My name is Anthony,
I'm Gabby.
and we talk about voiceover, and we're
Yeah,
voice actors and everything that goes along with it.
we talk about talking, basically.
Talking, yes. So I've got my on-air coffee cup today,
Rocking my New York City
just like
Museum of Natural History T-Rex.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, yeah,
I love
love my
it.
T-Rex.
Very nice. Good deal. Well, hello everybody. How are you? It's good to have you here. If you are new, please hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, hit the bell notification for all. If you don't hit all, you won't ever know when we actually go live or whatever. But when you hit that, they'll tell you. And also make sure to leave a comment. Tell us hello, where you're from. Always like to see where everybody's from. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had a huge showing from Austin in Texas. So please
Sure.
tell us where you're from and ask questions. We're here to answer questions.
Yeah.
The last couple of days, we've been having a fantastic topic about rates.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered, wouldn't you say? I think we've covered a lot on it.
We,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we were actually just talking about this before coming on, right? That really the only
Mhm.
thing we haven't sort of divulged in this is like our rates, but
Right.
it's sort of unnecessary
I
because
think so.
again we've kind of been reiterating to everybody that your rates are your own.
Yes.
Sure, guidelines, rate guides, right? All of these things that are tools that can help. Um, but we did leave off yesterday on the discussion of contracts
Yes.
and
Yes.
making certain that your terms are in writing so you can enforce all of these things that we've been talking about. So,
Right.
um, yeah, let's get into that.
Definitely. Yeah. So contracts. So no matter where you are, whether you're on a platform, whether you're going direct to clients, whether you have an agent, no matter what you
Mhm.
and hopefully all of those, you need to have a contract.
Yeah.
And first, the whole idea of a contract is to lay out expectations and protect yourself and protect you and so everyone knows what's happening and what's expected, and you have an agreement, as opposed to leaving it up in the air for don't
Mm,
know what's going to happen.
mhm.
So why don't tell us a little bit about, I think, your approach to contracts.
My personal approach, again, this is just stuff that I learned, outside of voiceover. My my approach is this. Always have your own contract because if you don't, the company that you're working with and for, oh, they would be thrilled to supply you with their own,
Oh
and
yeah.
they have one, I'm sure, but it will
Oh yeah.
not protect you. It will
Right.
not have your best interest in mind.
Right.
So always have your own contract, and then really the process to me is always comparative, right? You look at their contract, you look at your contract, you see where it lines up, what's the same, and then what's different. You have to make sort of decisions about, are you going to compromise? Are you going to be rigid? Like what's the process there? Like, so a lot of times, because I do a lot of stuff with broadcast and with radio and television stations with imaging and TV promo work, they always have a contract. Every broadcasting company has a contract. But what I will do is I will take their contract, I will attach my own, and then like if there are things in their contract that I find to be just egregious,
Hmm.
I cross them out.
Oh yeah.
I cross them out, I initial it, right? And I send it back. And inevitably, it's got to go back through their legal department. And some of this shit can take weeks
Oh yeah.
to get resolved.
Oh
But
yeah.
the bigger the contract, the bigger you have to do it. Now, I will say this, and I'm sure you agree, Anthony. Like, if it's a small job, there's no contract. The invoice is effectively the contract. The invoice lays out the terms, you're laying out
Yes.
what they're buying, what it's for, all of that kind of stuff. It's not more detailed than that.
Yeah, so and I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually for smaller jobs. I do the same thing. When you send an invoice, there's also a place for notes. There's a place for you to put your terms on there, and
Yes.
it, and by them agreeing and paying you, they agree to those terms.
You can
So yeah.
also take it a step further in that, depending on what kind of invoicing system you're using, like you could send like your terms in advance
Oh yeah.
and have require a signature on file, like somebody, a representative from the company needs to acknowledge these terms, sign it, and send it back to me, so I have it. Very standard stuff, like none of that is unusual or abnormal, and
No.
nobody in a billing department is going to be like, oh, who is this person that asking for all this stuff.
No, and quite honestly, it's almost a little weird if you don't.
It is, right?
Because then it's like, are these people kind of shady? I mean, it's interesting. You might at first glance think, well, I'm easy to work with, but the reality is that's not. I mean, that's not what everybody's thinking, right? Everybody's thinking, is this a legitimate, business I'm dealing with? And then, these companies have to also have their records. They got a lot of stuff that they, so,
Yeah.
it is at first glance it's a catch. We for some reason think it's better that we don't, but actually they will take you more seriously as
Yeah,
well.
like so some of the terms, let's talk about some of the terms or the things that typical, voiceover contracts include. First off, and I think that this is one that often surprises a lot of voice actors, COD, baby, payment up front. If I have never done work with you,
Mm,
right? You know, I'm a
yes.
company, I'm an entity. You contact me out of the blue. I have no relationship with you. I don't know you, and you want to hire me for a voiceover. Hey, cool. That's awesome. But for our first dealing,
Hmm.
one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to pay me up front before I release the audio,
Hmm.
or you're going to give me a credit card to hold.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because ain't gonna happen, right? I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
get screwed out of payment. And as far as, holding a credit card, I'm pretty reasonable. I tell people, I'm like, look, I'm gonna give you a standard 30 days, but if you don't pay it, I'm gonna charge you.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I love this. So many people who've listened to me over the years, I have fought for, I fight for. Gabby, I mean, Gabby's saying the same exact thing. I want us to get paid first. I mean, you want, typically, unfortunately, service businesses, people don't look at it that way. Like, the plumber comes to your house to do stuff, you pay them afterwards. Although, if you notice, a lot of them are getting smarter too, right?
Oh
They want
no.
payments, they
I don't
want, or
I,
some sort of retainer, some
yeah,
sort of
I'm gonna
payment
tell you,
for
like,
them to even come,
even
right?
material deposits,
Yes.
right? I mean, most companies are yeah, because people are getting screwed and we are no
Yes.
exception.
Well,
So
and it's cash flow.
protecting yourself first.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, and Anthony, I mean, we all go through it, right? Because we're vendor employees, we're contract employees, we are low man on the totem pole when it comes to being paid. Like,
Right.
so for any company, right, there's their payroll, the people that are their full time, their employees, and
Right.
then there's us, and we're
Right.
like way down on the
Right.
bottom.
Right.
So when you hear voice actors talk about it can take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days to get paid, it's because unfortunately it's based on a company's vendor agreement and what they have set up internally.
Right.
And I mean, it sometimes, we can work with that and it's okay, but still if I don't know you, like I'm not making that risk. Um
Oh yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so these are all important things that you want to set up. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, things like credit card on file. A lot of voice actors are like, I don't know how to take a credit card payment. You should.
Right.
You absolutely should be set up to take credit card payments. And you know what? Here's the fun part. Even if you're not, take the freaking credit card number anyway.
Oh yeah.
it's a
Oh yeah.
it's a preemptive threat. You're letting them know that you're
Here
serious,
and here's another little tip or something that you might consider that works very well for me. Most invoicing software does this. It's, remember, don't think this is a all or nothing game.
Hmm.
So meaning, like, take half up front,
Yes.
take a quarter up front, make them pay something up front. And a lot of the software will allow you to do, I mean, to do this. You just
Yeah.
type the how much do you want to accept now, and then how much do you want to accept upon delivery. It
Mhm.
allows you to do that,
For sure.
percentages, amounts, get, have some sort of cash flow. I do this also with audiobook narrators. The idea is, right, is that so many of them want to deal with, well, I want you to do 40 hours of work and then pay you at the end if I like it. I mean, I just that just but I mean,
No.
I cringe at that. And a lot of the people work that way. And
Mhm.
so what I do is, it's hard to argue. I say, listen, half up front, do you know what I mean? For the work that I'm going to do, whether you take it or not. And
Yep.
then at the end, right, when you approve the work, pay the rest,
For sure. For sure.
and you're going to have people who fight you on this. And this is where you need to stand tall, all right, and say, listen, I mean, well, in the end, it's your choice, because there are a lot of people who do what I just said. There's a lot of people who do that, who still do that, where they accept all the money at the end. All right. But I just don't like to operate that way. And a
Mm-mm.
lot of them have, a lot more people, have, are realizing that people are just like, they have you do all this work and then they don't pay you because they don't like it. And you're just out of luck.
Let's address real quick the fact that we are a global industry and
Yes.
you will have clients that are all over the globe.
Yes.
So one of my clauses, standard to my contract, if your company is owned and operated outside of the legal jurisdiction of the United States of America, payment upfront, every job, every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because more often than not, when voice actors get burned, it's overseas
Mm-hmm.
because they know there's no ramification. There's nothing you can do to them to collect that money. You're just SOL.
Oh yeah,
So,
you really are.
yeah.
I mean, when
Mhm.
we were dealing with Pocket FM, and
Mhm.
they are, a company out of India, and they, that was a whole, another interesting. Every country you go, there's going to be, quite different, especially the size of the company you're working
For
with,
sure.
right? The larger the company, the more kind of crazy it is. But that was they required, so there was so many legal things there. As in
Mhm.
India too, they will hold their own taxes and all kinds of stuff, and you have to fill out specific, paperwork with the U.S. to get the
Mm.
taxes back. It's crazy to this stuff. So, well, but the whole point is to know these things because we are a global
Yeah.
company. Now, one thing was interesting that I learned was more so when I started Academy Voices. And when I started, it's funny because you talked about this yesterday, Gappy, of being an advocate for other voice actors when you're, promoting other voice actors. So as Academy Voices, if I'm sure everybody knows, but if you don't know, our VO's Journey Academy, we have our own casting company called Academy Voices, where we help voice actors find voiceover work, and more specifically audiobooks, but we've done all
Mhm.
kinds of work from commercials to video games and stuff. So, anyways, um, I had to set up contracts. I had to set up terms of conditions. I had to set up
Mhm.
all of these things that, it's one thing to have it for yourself, but then it's one thing to your first goal. My first goal was to protect my voice actors and to help the voice actors, especially from my point of view, because I'm a
Yeah.
voice actor. And it was very interesting going through that process, just because you start to think, okay, well, what are the things that are very, are important? So we have our terms. I mean, the
Mhm.
terms, what is the scope of the work?
Mhm.
Who has the rights to use the work, how
Mhm.
long that work that is used, what is our process for renegotiating when that time is up.
Mhm.
All those things can be laid out in there. But someone did have a question up above real quick
Yeah, I'm
about
seeing a couple of great questions.
the AI clause. Have you put an AI clause in your contract? So I don't know about Gabby, but absolutely, I have AI clauses in all my contracts on Academy Ways. Everything, I basically say you are not allowed to use this work for any, machine learning, any purpose, any AI purposes
Mhm.
in general, without direct written consent
Mhm.
from the owner. And with Academy Voices, it's from Academy Voices and the voice actor.
Yeah.
So
I don't specifically have a blanket clause on AI, but that's also because the way my contracts are written, It is only the authorized use of what is outlined in that contract,
Right.
nothing else. So AI would be considered part of that nothing else. However, if I am dealing specifically with a software company, yes, I will put a little addendum, a little something in there specifically about AI for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
What's
watermark my audio
oh
so
yeah.
the clients can hear before payment, but can't actually use it. I do this instead of cash up front. Is it a bad idea?
That's an interesting question. Dylan, I guess that could go either way. Is it a bad idea? No. I think I could probably pro and con it, you
Right.
know?
I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing. I can think of scenarios where it's a good idea, and in some instances where you're going to have
Clients that
clients who want to take that work in order to you like
yeah.
to promote like to pitch it. Like
Yep.
there's also a lot of times we do work where people are trying to take our work to pitch it to sell it,
Mhm.
and they need to be able to pitch it, so it's kind of like you're in the chain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
but yeah, I
there
mean,
could be, there could be issues either direction, but I do think it really just is about release, and even when I release audio, even if somebody's paid in advance, I always say for your approval because I'm
right.
not right sticking them with a product they don't want or like. I'm saying, yeah, let's get it to where you want it to be, whatever that might look like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I also, just on a side note too, which is very similar, but recently, just because of again what I do, what we're doing with Academy Voices, I found that Dropbox, you can also have a Dropbox link and just make a link where people can view it and
Mhm.
not download it.
Yep.
So you can also do that, and that's a very simple thing to do as well.
But I would be careful with that only because I will say I know too many tricks of the trade, right? Especially if people are in video production. There are too many tools out there. There are too many softwares out there that allow for theft and for the lifting of audio. So I don't even know if I would trust Dropbox in that scenario. Like I have my video crew in house, like we have a software literally we can lift audio from anything.
Well, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, so what I we have, so we use, or I use Wondershare, and UniConverter, and
Mm,
a lot of the software we use is because I often try to either get our work that's done and try to get that,
yeah.
so try to download those videos or find the stuff. But yes,
Yep.
there is a lot of stuff. We mainly work with, like I said, authors,
Yeah,
and it's a way for them to listen to the audio without being able to take the audio.
for sure.
So, but yes, and I will say this: we want to and we want to all of us be always smart and doing everything we can. But I'll never forget. It's a good point. If someone wants to do bad stuff, unfortunately, they're going to do bad stuff.
They are.
And
And all we can do is be savvy
right,
and
exactly,
protect ourselves. That's it.
exactly. Okay,
Oh,
we got
Hartley yeah, great question. What invoicing software do you both recommend? Okay. Oh, there's so many.
there
Um,
is
so I personally use Zero with an X, Xero. Love it. There's a software called Wave that's very popular that a lot of people use, especially beginners because it's a little bit more user friendly and cost friendly for people who are
oh yeah,
just starting out. Of course, there's the old standby of QuickBooks. I mean, QuickBooks in
sure.
any form
QuickBooks is a good.
online. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been old school too. I literally use PayPal and Stripe.
But
So
that's not old school.
yeah, I mean,
I
you
don't,
can use, yeah, you can
yeah.
use, there's so many of those. I mean, I think the different, so it'll be personal preference because all those are going to be like the ease of using them, the feel of it. How do you like
Hmm.
such and such, yeah, so there's a lot out there. There's a lot.
Most of your software that allow for the taking of payment, like you're saying, Anthony, PayPal, Square, Venmo, hell, even Cash
Venmo,
App, I think,
Venmo, Cash App.
yeah,
Yeah.
they all have some sort of integrated
Yes.
invoicing system or request for payment system. Now,
Yes.
that may not be the most effective come tax time when you have to like
Hmm.
reconcile books and do a bunch of other stuff. So that's where it becomes important to have your integrations. But even like websites now, a lot of
Sure.
your Wix and Squarespace and WordPress websites that have integrated um, e-commerce,
Yeah.
they have invoicing systems too. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's really
That
whatever
that's a really good point because
comfortable
we
with.
because I use our business uses QuickBooks and and PayPal and Stripe integrate. Now you
Mhm.
have to pay a
Yeah.
fee for Stripe, but they integrate. So like my accountant and my bookkeepers, they're all happy with
Yeah.
that. But you gotta, yeah. So you
You
definitely want
do,
to
you
have
do gotta
something
pay,
that
but I mean, it's cost of
integrates.
doing business. It's pretty
It is.
small when you consider the headaches that it eliminates in the long run.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so I'm gonna do a quick plug. If you guys want to hear more on some of this kind of stuff or see contracts, examples, rates, examples. So I have a book called Voiceover CEO. And
Yay!
yeah, it's my business book about voice acting. It's available on my website. It's also available on Amazon. You can just search me as an author. I literally just got it up on Amazon this year.
We need to put it up on
Um,
our store
yeah, so
and
it's
Vio Journey.
but it's great, and it's a small book, but it's meant to be a workbook specifically for voice actors who are setting up their business.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
my God, it's already been 20 minutes. Where
it's
did it
already been
go?
20
What the
minutes,
hell?
and I want to say we have Angela. Voiceover Angela is
No
in the
way. She's
chat.
in the house.
Hey,
Angela.
Angela. It's
Wake
so
up.
good to have you with us. It's nice to see you. And Angela, if you don't know Angela, I'm sure you know Angela, of course, but she has been longtime friends, and it is always a joy to see her and what she is doing. So good to see you, Angela. All right. Well, it has been a wonderful. I think we really covered some great stuff today. The contract things. We are putting together some templates at VO Journey, so that as you being a part of the community, you'll have access to some templates. Because there is a lot of different stuff out there, and you're like, which one do
Oh
I
my
go
gosh.
with? What do I know?
Totally.
So we'll have that for you as well if you're ever interested. And we'd love to have you as always at VO Journey Academy. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is our open forum. Tomorrow
Yeah.
we want you to
Forum
bring your
Friday.
questions
Yep.
so we can answer them all. So that's kind of an exciting Friday. So see you guys tomorrow.